All right, Jairus, got a few questions here. What does the GT do that makes it unique from other skis on the market? If we gave like the full market rundown, you've sort of got HO, radar, good, riding high in the water, and sort of sliding around the lake. So when you're on those types of skis, it's very much about controlling the tip and the tail and sort of successfully sliding it through the water. And then when you're dealing with a ski like Connolly or a D3, it rides so deep and they grip so much, especially the Connolly, considering we've cut off that back edge on the sidewall now and the ski's riding sort of deeper than anything else on the market. On the Connolly, it's really about just sort of pointing it in the direction you want to go. It's going to grip and it's going to stay on that line. There really is a very different way to run the course. But I mean, I would argue that at the end of the day, considering we're trying to go fast around corners, you really do want a lot of downforce and not much drag, just like sort of an F1 car. And I mean, for me, when I ride the other brands, they all just feel like rally cars where they're sliding around and it takes a lot of movement with your body to actually get the ski to continue to slide correctly. Whereas on the Connolly, I can just sort of stay still, point it where it needs to go, and hold on for the ride. What are the keys to a good gait and one ball? Yeah, so I feel like, especially when you're training in a tournament, I guess it's kind of different, but when you're training, the key to a good gait and one ball is to commit to 3 stages, and don't try and adjust your timing on the gaits, meaning that once you pull out on that gait, just commit to pulling out, standing up in the glide for a little bit, getting your speed right, and then turning in. So commit to those 3 stages and don't necessarily commit to actually going through the gaits themselves. Because if you're in training and you're cutting out for the gate and you're already looking at the actual gate and you're kind of adjusting everything to get through that gate, you're always going to get through the gate, but you're never really going to get a solid like 3-stage gate where you go out, go straight, and turn in with any form of consistency, because you're always kind of adjusting it to get through that gate. So the trick in training, which generally eventually just leads you to have a good gait anyway, and you can keep it the same for tournaments. In training, just commit to going out, straight, and in, and then just assess whether you go through the gates or not. If you don't get that visual reference of how much you've gone early or late through the gate, you never really know how bad you stuffed up and by how much you stuffed up the gate cutout itself. So just commit to the 3 stages, look at how much you missed the gate by, whether you were early or late, and then just adjust the timing at the start, commit to the 3 stages again, and before long, you're going to have a killer gate that's very consistent. Why do you use snow ski boots for your blinders, and what benefit do they provide? Yeah, so my boot, I got a lot of questions about the boot. I might do a whole video on that. But I mean, my boot, it doesn't release, it's really high, it's very aggressive. My boot's kind of a custom setup. It's super aggressive, and I mean, I don't really promote it as safe. Do you know what I mean? Like I have to fall a specific way to keep my feet in the boot without causing any damage. Every now and again, I'll throw a Hail Mary, which does cause damage, as a few of you know. My boot is very, very aggressive. I would almost argue that it's a little difficult to ride, and I'm obviously still tweaking it. But yeah, the boot's maybe I'll do another video on the boot. What are the keys to success for mastering the next shortest line length? Very general question. I would say not enough people watch their video of their skiing. You know, it's you're kind of stabbing in the dark if you don't actually know what you look like out there. So get a camera on yourself and watch the video. Don't overanalyze it. Just watch it. Yeah, this one is from Gary. If we are allowed to hold the Croc Run this year in Townsville, are you coming for a ski? I'll probably be in America, maybe. If I'm not, I'll come. Mitch, I need to teach my GTR how to run 39 off and shorter. How do I do this? Les, my coach at the beginning, he told me once back when I was on the F1, Connolly F1, he said, that skis knows how to ski better than you ever will. It's had generation upon generation of elite level skiers tweak the bevels and decide what the rocker and flex pattern should be. Just trust the ski. So I mean, this is not answering Mitch's question at all. But yeah, the ski really does know how to ski better than you do. And that's myself included. If you can sort of, especially on a Connolly, if you can get that thing pointed where it needs to go and then hold on for the ride and don't move too much along the way, it's going to do a lot for you. Kathy, what makes someone easier to coach? So beyond just pure athletic ability, which does generally tend to make things a lot easier, I would say it's probably someone's ability to just commit to what we're changing despite the outcome. Because I mean, when you get someone to really successfully change something, so an example would be if I get someone loading harder into the first wake, right? The result of that might be that they come off the second wake with way too much speed, much earlier than what they've ever been before, and then they fall off. And so for some people, like that's a disaster, and they want to sort of adjust something, or maybe even they see it coming and they adjust it midway through. Whereas like types of people that I really like to coach are the ones that just fully commit and don't really care about the consequences or the outcome. In that they load harder into the first wake, they're early, they're fast into the next ball, and then something goes wrong. And then we just sort of go to the end of the lake and they sort of know what's happened. And I kind of explain that, yeah, okay, so what you did then was great. We got the outcome that I wanted, but you got into a position that you're not normally in. And then if we can get them in that same position again, we'll give them something else to change. And then that will sort of allow them to deal with the consequences of the first change that we made. So generally, like 2 steps like that is pretty common. If someone can't handle sort of those 2 steps at once, it gets tricky. And then like when you really have fun coaching someone is like every now and again, maybe one in every bloody, I don't know, 50 people, someone will be capable of doing 3 steps. And then maybe someone will be doing 4. I mean, almost no one can do 4, but yeah, when you get the people that can commit to sort of 3 different stages, having altered what they've done with a very aggressive change to something at the start, it's not always loading into the first wake. That's when it's fun because you just sort of see someone like so out of their depth, skiing far shorter than what they have before, based on like a completely new sequence of movements. And yeah, it's fun to watch someone just be out of their depth, commit to the movements, and see the results straight away. It's awesome. Will Man, how can I get up backwards on 2 skis? And then I saw that Les comments, I can teach you to do that. It's quite easy, even easier when you're a little backwards to begin with. So I'll leave that with Will to figure out. I seem to miss my opener a lot. Any tips? I've tried dropping back passes to go out at, but that doesn't work. Should I just go out at 38 off? At least people might think I am good. That's I think that's from Gus again. We'll just skip that. No is the answer. Don't start short. Start at a pass you can run. And if you can't run a speed that you're sinking at, get a bigger ski, I guess, or do some free skiing. Free skiing. If you're not running the course and you're just throwing your head against it, do some free skiing. I would sort of push that more so than getting a bigger ski. To be honest, Mark, how are you healing up, Joel? Pretty good. Foot's awesome, to be honest. It's skiing really well. I got all my balance back on the slack line, etc. My running is struggling a little bit. Just lost something, but it'll come back, I think. But yeah, skiing wise, it's going great. Darren, Joel, what do you feel is your biggest accomplishment in water skiing? Yeah, for sure, winning the world title. That's yeah, there's a lot went into that, and not just from myself. I mean, just the amount of people that put their heart and soul into my skiing career. Yeah, it was just awesome to sort of have all of those people see it pay off in such a definitive way. Unreal. Dave from Korea says, Dr. Joe, ha ha. Dave and I, Dave's not his real name, it's Dahinam, and there's a bit of a language barrier there, old Dave. Dave, if you're watching, 한국어 없어. No idea what you're saying, to be honest. 네, 준혜가 너무 작아서 한국어 없어 없다. Okay, Sasha, you had a great result at Worlds, obviously, but with great consequences. I exploded my foot, for people that don't know. Are you considering a change in bindings for this year? So I have changed my boot. I got a brand new one, but it's no safer and it's even more aggressive. So yeah, I guess the answer is no, kind of, as far as like, am I changing towards something that's going to release or something like that? But I mean, for me, like throwing a Hail Mary, exploding my foot, and winning a world championship is a completely acceptable outcome. So yeah. Anyway, you got to differentiate between the things that I'm recommending and the things that I'm just answering honestly, but not necessarily recommending. Mike, how did you score at the Aussie Nationals 2020? Oh, that's a touchy subject. Aussie Nationals 2020 is cancelled, obviously. Angus and I are hosting Facebook Nationals, which has been postponed. But anyway, yeah. Geez, Mike, that's rough.